Okay, so I am starting this solo playthrough using using Sundered Isles. Now this is mainly just a test to see if I will like playing the Ironsworn game solo, because right now I really love it as co-op. I think that's where it shines. I think it's just best as co-op. And I tried solo like one time and I wasn't really feeling it, but I didn't give it a fair shake, so I think I'm going to give it a fair shake this time. I started creating a character and a little bit of the world, so I have some of it already built. I just got these in the mail, these supplement books. So there's a couple things that I already did. So I already selected the realm. I wanted to do classic pirate. So we're doing a seafaring realm. The Sundered Isles lie within vast and perilous seas. So the seafaring realm is the default. Everything will assume that you are undertaking nautical adventures. So that's exactly what I would like to do. So I have a character called Vega, and her nickname is Lucky. She is brown skin, wiry. She's a young sailor. She's about 19 years old. She has a gold hoop in her left ear, calloused hands, always this kind of like cocky, permanent half smirk on her face, and a lot of people underestimate her. I decided she doesn't have her own ship. She's 19. I really wanted to see like, hey, let's build this plucky little teenager up. She has a lot to prove. Her vow is to liberate her home because imperial forces had invaded her home, and so she wants to go back and get revenge. She wants justice to be done, and she wants to make a name for herself. She wants to forge her own legend as an explorer of the Sundered Isles. So that's what I have so far for Anne. So I did the realm already. I chose the truths. I'm using Foundry, and I believe the truths are here in the journal, Sundered Isles. So these are the truths that were set. Just really quickly, I chose a great war left horrible scars. 2 centuries ago, a powerful empire dared to claim these isles as their own. Ruined places are all that remain to mark their hubris. It's the modern era. The modern era truth I chose is the age of industry, because I thought that would be cool, that, things are starting to change. There's more technology coming into play. There might be some people, some old heads in here who, want to go back, who stick to their guns, but I thought it would be fun to have some emerging technology. Iron vow, some see them as superstitious, but tradition still persists, just like in technology. Navigation, we rely on ancient traditions and knowledge of the star mark to navigate these perilous seas. I like this. They still are relying on tradition for stuff like that. In terms of empire, imperial forces vie for dominion over the Sundered Isles, and that goes into her background and her backstory. Piracy, they are fiercely independent, but they are bound by a shared code. I like that. I didn't want it to be just complete chaos and things like that, so I chose this one. Religion, I chose the gods are dead. I didn't know which way to go for this. Religion usually doesn't play a huge part in my games. Sometimes, it depends. But yes, I chose the gods are dead. So, that could come into play. I don't think so, but we'll see. Magic, I've said magic is an ever-present elemental force. So basically, I'm just like, classically heavily inspired by Pirates of the Caribbean. So I was just thinking about, magic. There were beasts. There was the Kraken. There was like people who have been twisted by the sea and stuff like that. So I wanted magic to be present for sure. Beasts, of course, I want there to be monsters. I think that could be fun. Krakens. Also, Anne has a dragon. We'll get to her assets. I thought, hey, if someone's offering a dragon, I'm going to take it. So, and then the horrors, I chose the veil between life and death is as fragile as a gossamer. So, ghost ships, they stalk the sea. Undead guardians protect ancient tombs. drowned sailors emerge from the depths. So yes, I basically wanted to play my own little Pirates of the Caribbean style game with a girl who kind of has a bone to pick with the Empire and wanting to get back at them. But she's plucky and she still has a lot to learn and grow into. There is that as well. So that is the truth I chose for Anne Vega. I created an NPC, like the captain of the ship that she's on. So these are her stats right here. Edge 3, Heart 2, Iron 1, Shadow 1, Wits. And her assets. So she has a dragon named Fiddle. I thought that would be cool. She's a swashbuckler and an urchin. So she can go unnoticed and a lot of the time, like I said, underestimated. Progress. For my game, I'm going to be using a lot of clocks because I want to kind of pressure myself a little bit more. I'm thinking this will help me for solo games in terms of I want... So for this game, I think it's a little too open-ended, and that's great for co-op, but I want something a little bit more structured in terms of solo. So knowing that, I just, have a lot of clocks here. So I think I'm going to do, if I roll poorly or something like that, the clock is going to tick up, and then I'll have to deal with that, and I think that is fun. She has one connection, that's Captain Ironhide Bowey. That's the captain of the ship that she's on. And so that's Anne. And so what else do I need to do? So I did the truths. I didn't do factions, and I do want to do that. I already did create character. Take command, so I chose her role. She doesn't have a ship. And I didn't do chart course. So let's go to set your factions and see how that goes. What page is that? Set your factions, page 88. So, what people and powers inhibit your version of the Isles? In this exercise, taking inspiration from your truths, you choose or envision a handful of influential factions. These choices help set in motion the conflicts and interconnections of your setting and provide inspiration for encounters at sea and ashore. You'll want to record some notes, grab some index cards or notepaper, or open up a new page in your digital journal. Okay. Introduce your factions. Consider the outcome of the truths exercise. What important and interesting powers come to mind? Is there a single oppressive empire? Multiple empires? What people and organizations inhabit the Isles? So, if we're looking at our truths, and even like her vow, there were imperial forces that kind of overtook her home, which is probably in an island that she's from. I don't know. I didn't flesh that part out. But let's see. Can we create... This is create actor. But I don't know if we can create like a organization. Maybe. Let's see. Location, starship, NPC. There we go. Recording faction details. Give each faction a name and a short summary with a few commonly understood details. 2 to 4 bullet points are about right. If you prefer to keep it simple, start with the placeholder description. So if you'd like suggestion for factions, turn to page 52. Always love a suggestion. This thing is new. The pages are still sticking. People who share traditions and a way of life. Thalassa. Organizations, the Bloody Skulls. Okay, these are societies. These don't seem like people who would, well, I don't know, but... Okay. People joined in a collective trade, pursuit, or goal. Bloody Skulls, band of scavenging shipbreakers who line way along hazardous passages. They believe that painting their faces with a death-like visage protect against retribution by spirits of the dead. Let me roll a D100 and see what I get. 88. So that was 88. So that is tide runners, smugglers who ferry their ill-gotten goods from island to island. They rely on speed, stealth, and cover of foul weather or moonless nights. Organization. Yeah, so it is an organization. Give each faction a name and a short summary. So I guess I can, let's see, what does, so I was gonna call it factions. So we're gonna call them Tide Runners. But that name is not even that cool. Like, I want a cooler name. They're smugglers. Is there like a, there's always oracles for names and stuff. What page is the question? The companion has a vast array, oh. Of course. Oracles, right here, come on. Come on, Myriad, get it together. Okay. Oh, there's faction oracles right here. Settlement name. I should probably like roll for where she's from. So I can have a better idea. I still need to roll like, about the cursed dice stuff. Make the faction one of the cursed or keep the result and add cursed faction aspects. Faction influence. Ooh, this one's interesting. Okay, so faction oracles. Character first look. Ooh, okay, so faction name. Building a faction name. Choose a template for a faction name from the option below. Okay, if I go back here to 89. Linking factions to your character. Relevance test. For each faction you introduce, answer 3 questions. Does this faction fit the world I'm creating? Can it motivate quests, connections, or threats for my character? And can this faction interact with at least one other faction to create conflict or intrigue? Okay. Interesting. Oh, it does say to go to page 69 here. There we go. Just gotta keep reading. Oh, most of the faction stuff is actually here. So I'm gonna stay here. I'll go in order. I'm gonna roll a D100. So I have the little faction here notes and see if I can keep them in line. So I'm gonna roll a D100 and see 27. So this one is isolated, limited influence in a remote location. So this first one is I don't know their name, so I'll just put 1 for right now. So right now we'll say influence. When you have a question about the relationship of one faction to another, okay, that's when we'll use that. Use this table to generate history of notable events that shaped a society. Kind of like things that they have done. So organization, empire, society. How many do I want? I think 3 factions is good. So I'm gonna start with 3. It's not as it's going to be an organization. Their influence is isolated, so it's a limited influence. Limited to a remote location. This one's going to be an organization, and then I will do the second one will be an empire, or maybe 2 of them could be empires, because like I said in one of our truths, we saw that the empire, if we go back to our truth, empires, they're vying for dominion over the Sundered Isles. So there is empire colonization and exploitation is a creeping tide. So colonel governors overseeing over expanding settlements. Yeah, so we do want empires, but we'll do one organization. So let's see what the organization type is. 98. Wreckers. What is wreckers? Huh. I don't know what wreckers is, but we'll figure out something. Their methods. Let's see what their methods are. 5. Governed by a shadowy court or cancel. Methods by a shadowy court. And let's see there. It looks like you can roll twice. I think that's what that means. That little symbol. That's oh, I got another 5. I'll do one more. 39. Members adopt body ornamentations. Interesting. Okay. Oh, that is interesting, actually, now that I think about the body ornament. Like, so they're, like, have a lot of piercings and things like that. Okay. Let's see what a couple of their secrets are. Holds a rare or powerful relic. You know, they may be small, but they have a rare and powerful relic. Maybe not many people know about it and want it. 85. What else? Suffering the suffering the shortage of a key resource. Interesting. Okay. So let's roll a cursed faction roll. It kind of they could be cursed. Cursed factions include people and beings of a strange, supernatural, dreadful nature. You know what? I'm going to choose their cursed faction role. And sorcerers or witches sounds really interesting. So I'm going to add that. I think it makes sense. So let's figure out some uncanny aspects to roll once or twice. Let's see, I'll just 82. Supernaturally bound to a place or ship. Interesting. So they're limited to this remote location because they're bound to it, not because they want to, per se. They can't leave. That is interesting. Cursed aspects. So it's like it's full of sorcerers and witches, but they haven't even been able to figure out how to leave this location. Maybe that's what they're hoping this relic can help them with. Well, we'll see. So choose a template. So it is an organ. It's it could be a society, organization. Let's do organization. So we'll do theme aspect and theme persona. Is that somewhere here? Choose a template and then themes, page 76. Oh, okay. These are themes. And then persona. Am I missing it? I'm blind sometimes. Mysticism for sure. Oh my god. Aspect and persona are right there. I told you I am blind. So theme aspect and theme persona. We're gonna go with mysticism because that makes sense. So let's roll a D100 to get their name. That's 52. Obsidian Oracles. And then is that like the actual name or is just Obsidian Oracles? I'm looking at the other personas. So what, I rolled 52, so Obsidian Oracles. We'll go with Obsidian Oracles for right now. Might change it. Okay, so that is faction number 1. Save that. Next we are going to do, so on a cursed result, make the faction one of the cursed. I gotta look up how the cursed rolls work again. People who share traditions, people seeking dominion over the Isles, people joined. Okay, so the next two are going to be empires because it's in line with the truths. So we will go with that. But let's see what their influence is. So we'll call it Empire 1. And then this will be actions, Empire 1. Okay, so let's see their influence. 83. Dominant. Oh, no, actually, notable. Okay. Oh. It is notable. It's dispersed influence across a moderate area. Dispersed. That makes sense. I think I'll make the next one dominant. I will choose that one. So it is an empire, so we're going to go to page 73. We're going to see what kind of leadership they have. Let's see, I'm going to roll D100. What's going on? There we go. That is 12. So, dynastic ruler. That has to do with dynasty, I'm guessing. Dynastic ruler. Imperial tactics. So empires deploy any number of strategies to expand their power and influence. Use this table to reveal the most visible methods or their current focus. So let's see. 64. Privateers and mercenaries. They just oh, okay. So they let's see. They use their tactics. So they mainly use privateers and pirates to do their bidding. Right? Is it privateer? Oh, and mercenaries. Sorry, not pirates. Let's see. Let's maybe they do they do one more thing. 51. Indoctrination. Oh, and they use indoctrination and propaganda. So they probably have a lot of flyers and posters and their flags everywhere and their colors all about to show that they're trying to be dominant, but they're just notable, you know. It's a moderate area. They're not even the biggest one. Maybe they want to be. Let's see what some of their vulnerabilities are. 64. Oh, their rival yep, that makes sense. Rival empire emerges and passes them quickly in, I'll say, in influence and power. So just wanted to build that out. Let's see. I'm going to roll one more. If I'm not filling it, I think that will be their biggest vulnerability. 25. Impending succession crisis. That one's interesting. Maybe like within their own faction, they have like some succession things. Who's the next ruler? Who deserves to rule? Things like that. So they have probably some infighting. Interesting. I don't think they're cursed, but I think if Empire 2, which is going to be the biggest one, was cursed, that would be interesting. But let's get their name. Let's do... I did the first one for organization. Let's do the second one. So we'll do culture and empire identity. So combine two themes for an evocative organization name. For example, the Gilded Blades is a wealthy affluence mercenary company. War. Affluence War. The Gilded Blades. Oh, okay. Trying to figure out culture and empire identity. Oh, it's this one. Oh my god, I told you I'm so blind. Okay, so we'll do the... That's a 15. So Drago. Okay, so that's the culture. And then empire identity. So let's roll again. 42. 42 empire. The Drago Empire. Interesting. But let's do the big boy. This is Empire 2. They are going to be cursed. People seeking dominion over here. I'll write that for Drago Empire. Seeking dominion over the Isles. But so is this next one. Okay. Their influence. I'm gonna say it's dominant. And they want to get to inescapable. So yeah, so their influence, dominant. So they are far-reaching influence across a vast area. Across a large area. But they want to soon be inescapable and cover even more ground. I'm gonna say they are ruthless. And I think, this is the big one. I think this could be the one that took over Anne's home. You know, it's just one of many islands that they have colonized. So they have, okay, let's see what the relationship is. I'll figure out the relationship after. I want to give it a name first. But then I will figure out a relationship between these two, the Drago Empire and whatever this one will be called. Okay. So let's see, what is their leadership like? If I don't like what I roll, I'll just pick, but let's see. 1. Assembly or council? I'm not sure if I like assembly or council. I'll roll one more time. It's 94. Power struggle, roll twice. Wealthy elite. I am, you know what? I'm going to say, I think I like their self-appointed dictator is interesting, military leader, and then a prophesied ruler is interesting. But you know what? I'm going to do military leader or self-appointed dictator. I'm going to flip a coin. I'm going to roll a d6. 1 to 3 is a military leader. 4 to 6 is a self-appointed dictator. So let's see. 4 to 6. Self-appointed dictator. I feel good about that. Self-appointed too. That can also bring up some stuff between that whole faction. Okay, self-appointed dictator. Let's look at their tact. 76. Relentless agents or operatives. Yeah, I did say they were ruthless, so that fits. They use relentless agents. They're kind of like the there is this Kaboom guy in the Avatar series with Aang, and he has like this thing in his forehead that can just shoot out beams of light and bomb and utter destruction, and he's just utterly relentless. I'm thinking the people they hire are like that. Just massively hard to kill. That's why they've been able to take over so much and like gain this influence. It's mostly through fear, through this dictator. Okay, let's see, what else do they use? 73. Oh, well, let's roll again. 75. I keep rolling on the same thing. I think that's it. Fine. It's meant to be. This is their main tactic that they use. Let's see if they have any vulnerabilities. Because everybody has vulnerabilities. 70. Sparks of rebellion. Ooh. I'm telling you, this is what happens when you have these self-appointed dictators. People start to speak and whisper to each other that either they should be the leader or that, like, they had no choice. People don't like having no choice. So 61. Anything else happening? Religious schism causes dissent. There are sparks of religion, but not only that. There is the beginnings, I'm going to say the beginnings of a religious dissent is what I'm going to say that, because right here it says religious schism causes dissent. I'm going to say it's the beginnings of a religious dissent. I'm going to say that this dictator is heavily religious, so this very much does affect him and his decisions. I'm going to say that. And like the people that he listens to are the religious. I said him. I don't know if it's a man or a woman. We should roll for that. His main advisors are, I'll say, well-respected religious leaders in this empire. And they are cursed. I thought that would be cool. So let's see. I'm gonna roll. What if they're vampires? That would be funny. So that's 61. Necromancers. That's interesting. Well, let me look to see what they got. Artificers, cultists, vampires, monster hunters, witch hunters. I'm gonna go with vampires. I just think that could be interesting. Like, that's why they have got this influence so quickly. Not only they probably send out their own vampire kind of agents. I'm gonna say they're cursed faction roles that they're vampires. Interesting. Let's see. Cursed faction aspects. Let's see what else. 74. Sells dreadful ships. Yep. They sell absolutely scary people here. 98. Worships a dreadful god or entity. I did say they were religious, yeah, so I don't know what the dreadful god or entity is, but they definitely worship one. Dreadful god. That fits. Okay, so it's Empire. Let's do theme aspect and Empire identity. So, okay, so I know Empire identity is right here, so I'll roll for that one. 86. Syndicate. Interesting. Let's see. Hand is interesting too. Okay, so let's see. Theme aspect. They are... I think, war is like the first thing that comes to mind, curses, but they're heavily religious, and I think that it could be interesting, like this dichotomy of this heavy religious, but they're just evil vampires, but they are super religious. So I'm going to roll to see. 58. The Hallowed, and then what did I roll? 86. The Hallowed Syndicate. I don't know if that sounds... I want it to sound even more scary. You know what? The Hallowed Hand is interesting. I'm going to call them that. And some people just call them the Hand. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Now let's see how they work together. How does the Hallowed Hand and the Drago Empire work together? What's their relationship? This result is the commonly understood connection, but might not tell the entire story. So I'll say, how is the Hallowed Hand connected? Let's see. 36. They're in control of the Drago Empire. Yep, that makes sense. I'm going to say the Hallowed Hand is in control of the Drago Empire. Let's put a connection between... Let's do a connection between the Drago Empire and the Obsidian Oracles, who are kind of all on their own. So we'll say, how is the Drago Empire connected to the Obsidian Oracles? I think the Hallowed Hand doesn't really mess with Obsidian Oracles because it's like witches and sorcerers and stuff, so they don't want to mess with that. Probably for religious reasons. Okay, so 42. Needs aid from. Oh, wow. Okay, so... Interesting. The Drago Empire needs aid from the... It's probably because the Drago Empire is being controlled by the Hallowed Hand, and they probably want people to come to their aid because, as we know, the Hallowed Hand, there are sparks of rebellion because there is a self-appointed dictator who is a vampire who probably him and his family probably dictated, self-appointed themselves years and years ago, hundreds of years ago, and people are finally starting to get sick of it. That could be interesting. I need to see. They don't want, of course, they don't want to be controlled by the Hand. They're not good people, but they would rather be in control. They're not doing it for any good reasons. So these factions are not good people, to be clear. Okay, so I have character oracles. So we got the factions. We got Obsidian Oracles, smallest of the factions. They're kind of limited to a remote location because they actually can't leave. That's one of their cursed aspects. They're bound to that location. We have the Drago Empire, who is notable, and they have a lot of their flags and flyers everywhere, but they're still under the Hallowed Hand, so they don't like that. And the Hallowed Hand is the biggest, the scariest. They're vampires, been around for hundreds of years, very powerful and scary. They're also cursed. I'll roll on this. I don't know who the dictator is, but if we ever get to that point in the story, I'll come back here and roll for it to see what their name is, their moniker, all that stuff. Okay, so we got shipwreck oracles. That's fun. Cave oracles. You can explore details. I'm just looking to see. There's lots of oracles. Okay, so I did the factions. Is there anything else that I wanted to do? So I'm going to close that for right now. Might get back to it. So we did the factions. So we connect the dots. Consider how they relate to each other. Are they at war? And we did. We linked them together. Link them to your character. The Hallowed Hand. These are... I'll say this is the this is the faction that overtook the home of Anne Vega. She was able to escape, but her family is still there, and she still thinks of them all the time. You know, she fights for them. Man, the Hallowed Hand sounds hard to take down. Mark it down and add important relationship details to the summary card. Keep in mind that you are only deciding the commonly understood connection between those factions, and that further investigation or events may reveal a deeper or alternative truth. So, okay, I'll keep it there. Probably went a little too deep in terms of like they don't want to be controlled by the hand anymore. They need aid for a rebellion. That's just my first thoughts. We'll see if that's the case, but create a relationship map as described on page 51. So what does that look like? I could potentially create a faction relationship map. Yeah, I can create a map. I don't have to record it. I can do it, later. It's a relationship map just to have, and as a reminder. It has like really cool art. I'm just like stopping to look at the art. It's like really good. Look, there's dragon. There's dragon. It's so nice. Listen, if the game's gonna offer you a dragon, you gotta take it. Okay. So I did the factions, marked it down. I created my character, did the background val and the stats. I don't have a cursed backstory. I am on a ship, though. I did create a ship. So I chose option 3. So I do not have a ship or command one of my own yet. I serve under the command of an NPC on their ship. That's how that's working. Either way, your destiny lies on a sea-bound course. Will you someday stand at the helm of your own mighty ship? That is the goal. So I do... Let's see. Here we go. And Vega. Here we go. I kind of have like plotted out some arcs. This is to help me with like solo play. I know it's still play to find out, but I need a little bit more structure in order for me to have like longevity with this game. So I kind of was writing out some plot points to hit and things like that. So the inciting incident. So the campaign name, The Scrappy Seas of Anne Vega. But so this is the NPC captain. She's gruff, she's pragmatic. She's a woman in her late 40s, stern. But the ship is called the Serpent's Kiss. It's a mid-sized schooner. It's fast and maneuverable. Has like a few unexpected smaller mechanized ballastae mounted. Eclectic mix of all sorts of folk in this place. Lots of rebels fighting for freedom type vibe, and I think that's what attracted Anne. She's still trying to prove herself on this ship, though. So I have like inciting incidents, stuff like that, so that when I do finally start to play, I have like some goals for myself. for solo play, I definitely want to have a little bit of a... It's not really... I don't know, I don't want to say it's railroading, but it is... It's just a little bit more guided, I would say. But that is what I am looking for when I'm playing solo. With co-op, no, I just come in with the other player and we just go. And that's where this game shines perfectly. It's really great for that. So, let's see, is there anything else? I did all the, this book is new, like the pages are still sticking. Okay. I still need to read a little bit more. Like I said, I want to read like this beginning section more. And then read about like the cursed die and stuff like that. Because I know that adds like a bit of fun. Oh, and I need to read about supply. Now supply is a little bit different. There's wealth and treasure in this game, so I gotta read about that. How that works, because that is not a thing in Starforged, so. Naval encounters. I gotta read about that. That's gonna be fun. Okay, let's see. 'Cause I'm almost done. Getting underway. So let me go back to 64. This is what I imagine the Obsidian Oracles look like, this picture right here. These ladies. Kind of isolated off to themselves. Okay. Chart your course. Creating, that's what I'll do next. I will create a map as a starting place for your adventures. That's page 100, but I will do that in another session. So chart your course. This takes about 30 to 45 minutes. Until then, I'm going to be reading a little bit more about like different rules in this game versus Starforged. So have ready the navigation chart worksheet. So I will have that ready too. And then I will also make that little faction map as well. So yeah, so that's where I'm going to end this. This was all just faction creation. So yeah.